We're at the Conservation Club Waterhole, and this is an interesting one, and we've installed a few of these on the property. And what this is, it's a half 55-gallon drum. We've cut it lengthwise, and then we've saucered this out. So you can see we have some good clay right here, and we've dug it out so we can try to catch water when we get a good rain. And so a lot of times you get an inch of rain, and of course it's not going to fill the barrel up, but it will once we saucer it out. And we've even come in here to where we've got a pretty large puddle forming around the top of it. And what we found is a great water hole, very easy to install, of course very inexpensive, but the one thing is if we fill this up and it's in October, let's say the daytime highs are getting 50, 60 degrees and we just don't get any more rain for 2 weeks, this is going to be dry. And so that's the only bad thing. This water hole in this location, we have a pretty good trail going back out to the field, and with that trail we can roll. We have some 15-gallon milk jugs that screw top, and we can put some water in them. We can just kick those and roll those down in here, fill this up really quick. And so, obviously we're not going to come up here on Friday night and fill it and then come out here Saturday afternoon and hunt. But what we do is we're out here hunting for the weekend. It's a Sunday afternoon. We're going to head home. We drive the truck up here, fill it full of water, and then we get out of here. And we're not going to hunt for another couple weeks, sometimes even a week. And what we find is we have cameras on most of our water holes. Some guys don't like that, and that's going to be a different talk in itself. But what we find is it's not the camera causing the problem with deer leaving the area. It's our impact as hunters and as human. The camera's really not doing anything at all. We have pictures of the same old 5, 6-year-old bucks that are coming to water over and over and over and over again, daytime and night. Our water holes end up being our best daytime photos on the property. More than food plots, travel corridors, scrapes, rub lines, water holes are key, really important. Now, of course, if you're in a dry area, that water hole might not be as important. But again, this spot right here is just a half 55-gallon drum, and the reason we have this back here is it's close to the field edge. Deer are coming from bedding. The bedding area is really, we put a lot of our water holes pretty close to bedding areas, and this one's no exception. The bedding areas are within 75 yards down to 150, 200 yards. So these deer can get quickly out of their beds, hit the water, and go to the food. And that's another recurring theme with our water holes. We want to offer those water holes between bedding and feeding, closer to the bedding area. It's a real good invitation for a buck just to sneak out of his bed, hit the water, and move on. At the same time, we're in a location like this where great benching activity, a lot of rubs in this location, a lot of old rubs, fresh rubs. Deer really use this and travel through here anyways, so it's a real nice cruising area, parallel to the field edge. Bucks that are cruising during the rut, especially mid-morning, they'll come in here all times of the day, and they're sneaking through a spot like this, hitting the water and moving on. It's kind of nice too, these water holes, very low stress. Water hole offers an opportunity for a deer to come in here, get a drink, and move on. Very low stress in that there's not a lot of other deer activity. Mature buck can come in here during the day, and there's probably not going to be any does or fawns. He can just slip in, slip out very quietly, as opposed to a food source. He goes out there at night, all kinds of doe family groups, fawns. Some of those does can be pretty aggressive, other bucks, and so the exposure level is a lot higher, the stress level is a lot higher. But back here in the woods a little bit, thick travel corridor, lots of rubs, close to bedding, feels really secure. So a lot of times it's not necessarily the type of tank we're using, the type of hole, but location is very, very critical. We might upgrade this. We've been using the 110-gallon tanks, or a tank around 100 gallons, and we find that those, we had one last year we filled in May. The next time we filled it was the end of October. So they hold their water for a very long time. They're a little bit taller. When you have taller tanks, you can see right here, this has got a little bit of depth to it. It's down here, it's shaded, a lot of trees around, that's critical. We can conserve our water as much as possible. Kind of the thought is big shallow pond, big shallow pool, a lot of evaporation. Get that water into a smaller tank, taller sides, less surface area for evaporation. You can hold that water longer. So I can imagine we'll upgrade this in the future, but at the same time, for the last 2 years we've enjoyed this. I have a good friend, Rich, that enjoyed this spot last year. Had a decent buck come in here, and he watched it for about 5 minutes and figured I better shoot that buck, and slightly quartering away broadside, and Rich missed that buck. So he'll enjoy this little segment on Waterholes, because sure, he has some great memories here, and he's looking forward to coming back next year and trying to erase that memory. So, but anyways, good opportunities for hunting, and this is just one of our types of waterholes that we have on the property, and I hope it makes a little sense why it's in this location and how we're using it.